What do we have for Leo, please? Two of Swords, Libra energy at the foundation of the reading, Leo. Leo, I feel that you're at this point in your life. It very much feels like a crossroads, which is what the Two of Swords is. But for you, you're at this crossroads because you are very much starting to come to terms with everything that's happened up until this point. There is a sense of peace here. I can actually feel it inside your energy. And there's this preparation that I'm also picking up on regarding the path that you are preparing to start navigating down. Now, I was also getting some messages intuitively before the reading regarding the eclipses that are coming up as well. So I feel that you are eclipsing some sort of hurt and pain out of your life that was holding you back from really discovering this new territory of your life and of your reality in this life cycle. It's as if everything that has happened in your life in regards to these struggles up until now has been meticulously crafted by some sort of dark force to keep you from this path you are preparing to make your way down. I feel that you may be in a space where you are stuck in thought. You may be going over events in the past that have taken place. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just find yourself almost obsessing over these kinds of memories. And even though obsessing can come across as something that sounds negative, I think that this is actually a necessary action for you to start resolving some of these things that are preparing to be released from you. Now, I say released loosely because that might suggest that you will never have these thoughts again, or it's just something that will no longer affect you. And that's not really what I'm picking up here. I feel an energy of peace. You just get to a point where things don't hold you back. But overall, the energy that I'm getting here is you actually being faced with this very important decision of the past and the future. You are right on the precipice. You are right on the threshold of this new timeline. And I feel that all of your work leading up until this point has gotten you to this particular plateau. It's as if all of the changes, all of the transformation you've been through since these events you've graduated on from, let's just say that, have now led you to this monumental moment in your life where, well, it's like being sat down before the divine courts. And the divine is presenting you with your new life and your old life. And they're having a review with you, but asking you what you want, Leo, what you see for yourself, and if you're prepared to start moving on. And this is the energy that I'm picking up for you right here at the foundation. And this is also during this pre-shadow Mercury retrograde, as well as the upcoming eclipses. So big energy here, Leo. What do we have at the sacral, please? Oh, wow. 5 of Wands. Leo, that is your energy. In reverse at the sacral. This reiterates everything I just said, because the 5 of Wands in reverse is an energy that's unresolved. It's as if there's closure here that you were never given, but the divine courts are trying to offer it to you in another way. This is exactly what I was feeling with this Two of Swords at the foundation. They want you to start really focusing on your goals, Leo, what you see for yourself. It's time to allow the divine to offer you this closure and not to wait around or expect it from another individual that I feel may have been keeping you in this suspended position for quite some time now. You know, this is a form of narcissistic abuse. Usually when you are a victim of somebody's narcissistic tactics toward you, it leaves you feeling very confused. There's this sort of blast zone surrounding the epicenter of that trauma. And that blast zone can almost be seen as a post-shadow. It's just something that reverberates and surrounds you for an extended period of time. This could last years depending on how proactive you are in trying to overcome and heal yourself. A lot of the time when you're dealing with this, let's say, post shadow trauma of narcissistic abuse, there is a kind of blaming yourself that can come along with that too, because through the confusion, you quite possibly start to resent yourself for having allowed yourself to be a victim of this kind of trauma. But individuals who experience narcissistic abuse to the level that a lot of the individuals inside the Leo collective have are blessed with a certain kind of wisdom. You are being given some sort of gift on the backside of all this trauma. Now, a really simple way I can put this for you, it's as if you go through some really horrendous struggles in your life. You manage to overcome it. You manage to go through some healing, enough to at least get back on your path and pick yourself up and start moving forward. And you find that you hold a certain kind of wisdom that could be very useful to not only yourself on your path forward, but to other individuals. And when you start to realize this and you are standing fully in your confidence, a lot of doors begin to open up for you. You know, trauma survivors are blessed when they're able to overcome the trauma with the gift of being able to help others, right? Because think about it. To be a guiding light for others, you would have really had to have gone through the dark yourself. And that's not in all cases. Obviously, therapists aren't going to go through everything that all their clients have been through, but this is something different here, Leo. This is a different kind of support that the divine is positioning you, I feel, to be for others. Now, another side of this could be writing a book, but I just get that there's something here that is so incredibly valuable that the divine is trying to expose to you through this healing process. I have yet to come across an individual that hasn't found a treasure at the end of some sort of traumatic cycle that they've been through in their life. And when you can get to this point, Leo, you start to see that the path that you have been on had to unfold the way it did. And I know that can be really hard to hear for some of you out there. It really depends on what you've been through. But this is how the universe works, Leo. And you were chosen for this particular path because you were the right one for the job, okay? So just some things to keep in mind as you are preparing to navigate into this timeline. And remember to take a time out and think about how far you've come and think about what you've learned and how valuable that may be to another person or quite possibly a group of individuals. There's no telling how the universe may be working in your life, Leo. But I feel you're about to find out if you haven't already. Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. And this, of course, goes along with everything we're picking up here, Leo. This is representing some sort of deception, betrayal that you've dealt with. A lot of you have been through divorces. Some of you have come out of situations where there's been infidelity. Take it as it fits. But there's something here that you have now been gifted with for having gone through these struggles and removed yourself. There's an energy here of you breaking free of something. I just feel that over the next few weeks, Leo, during this retrograde, during the eclipses, a lot is going to be revealed to you about the path forward. You're going to start getting ideas, downloads on things that you can start investing your time into. There seems to be an energy inside the Leo collective of preparation. It's one of those kinds of aha moments, like, wow, I didn't even see it like that before. It's like all of the puzzle pieces start coming together and you're able to begin to see enough of the picture to start placing all of the rest of the jigsaw puzzles to get a strong enough idea of the direction you need to begin moving in. I'm really getting a strong energy here surrounding individuals inside the Leo collective that are overcoming traumas and karmic cycles in their life that are going to go on to write books, quite possibly start support groups, be some kind of therapist. I'm picking up on podcast hosts, counselors, all sorts of things, but all of it falls under the umbrella of being at service to others, because you have the wisdom, you have the experience and the knowledge to help heal. I feel as though I'm picking up on a new wave of healers. This is quite a big energy, Leo. It's quite beautiful. It's powerful, what I'm sensing here. Let's keep going. Too many cards. What do we have at the heart, please? 7 of Wands, Leo. That is your energy again, right there at the heart. These cards are following everything I'm saying. And for me, when I read tarot and this happens, all it's really doing is confirming that what I'm saying is accurate. 2 of Swords to the 5 of Wands in reverse to the 7 of Swords to the 7 of Wands. 77 is speaking about you preparing for something. Something very positive is coming your way, Leo. And this is all the result of your hard work and effort that you've put in up until this point. The 7 of Wands here is speaking about an energy that you've overcome. It's energy that wants you to feel very discouraged, wants you to give up, doesn't want you to take this path. You see, I quite often talk about how when you are the subject of some sort of narcissistic abuse, the narcissist will never try and right their wrongs. They'll never take responsibility for their actions. What they'll do is try and double down as a means to make you feel crazy by the different layered forms of gaslighting that they start to implement. They'll start to use triangulation tactics to turn other individuals against you, and they will not stop until they have knocked you down from this position that you are now standing in. You have to remember that when you're subjected to this kind of abuse, you're always beneath them, right? This is how they perceive you. You're in this position where they can control you. So when you defy them and you actually take a stand and you start fighting back, they're not used to this. They would much rather go down in flames than to ever try and right their wrongs. And this is why these kinds of individuals are so incredibly evil. I mean, they really are the demons of the world. And, you know, I myself, Leo, I'm no stranger to narcissistic abuse. I've dealt with this with multiple family members, friends that were just really direct reflections of the family members that subjected me to their narcissistic abuse. And I have, of course, dealt with this in probably 90% of the romantic relationships I've ever been in. And what happens when you are subjected to this kind of abuse is you begin to question yourself and your own moral compass. It's almost as if there's something vampiric in nature. It's like they're trying to turn you into one of them. But the difference, Leo, between you and them is even though you were put through these cycles, they were never able to turn you. That is when the alarm bells start to go off and these individuals start to recognize you as the enemy, otherwise known as the black sheep. See, you have to go through these different layered forms of this narcissistic abuse to fully understand how they function. And then once you come out the other side, it's as if you have their playbook. You have something so incredibly valuable that the universe is now positioning you for to be able to help heal and or teach others how to overcome this in their own life. What do we have at the throat, please? The World. Oh, perfect. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy. And this is going back to what I said about the divine, giving you the closure you need to start moving forward into this new timeline. This world speaks on just that, and it's right there at the throat. So I feel that what is taking place inside your energy now, Leo, is everything beginning to really crystallize. You're starting to understand the greater plan for your life moving forward, or just really enough of it to start making your way into this new cycle. Things have been in this suspended state for a very long time, but now it's as if the cogs are beginning to turn, and I'm seeing in my mind's eye these giant gears that have been stuck, and all of a sudden there is this movement, and that really speaks about the completion of this cycle, Leo. It's over, and it's time to step through the portal into this new chapter of your life. I feel that this time next year, you're going to look back on this time with a greater understanding. It's as if you're going to see things from a higher perspective because you're further down the road now. You're going to start to understand that everything you have been through was to get you to where you are in that very moment. I'm also hearing that a lot of you are going to start to have things exposed to you, little details about what you've overcome with some of these individuals, right? It's like things that were hidden from you being revealed to you intuitively. You just start putting pieces together in a way that you haven't before because you have this different perspective. You're outside the fishbowl. You're no longer stuck in the forest, right? You can't see the forest for the trees. Leo, still to this very day, I look back on those times when I was dealing with this in my own life, and there's always a new piece of information that comes to me, just a little Easter egg, another piece of the puzzle. And I'm of the belief that it takes time for us to have all of these things revealed to us. I believe that the divine gives us what we can handle in the moment. We go a little further down our path, and then they give us another piece to the puzzle. And then eventually you get to the point where you just start to think back and you're like, I can't even believe I entertained that person, that situation. I can't believe I allowed them to get one over on me like that, whatever it may be for you. And that's really what awakening is, Leo. You start to look back on what you've come from and think to yourself, if that was now, I would never even entertain that person, that event, that karmic cycle, those friends. I would have never have allowed those family members to take advantage of me for as long as they did, because now you have this deeper knowing, and this is confirmation of your healing. And that's confirmation that you've undergone a lot of healing, Leo, because once upon a time, you would have gone back. Once upon a time, you would have kept entertaining those friends, those family members. And that's why the universe is the universe. The universe is perspective. The universe can see our life in a way we can't. The universe doesn't see all the useless little details. The universe just knows that we need to get from point A to point B, and everything else in between is the noise, is the resistance, is essentially the enemy, if it's not in alignment with us and supporting us on our path of evolving. You see, each one of us is a spark of evolution. Anything that stands in the way of that is de-evolution, period. So now, as you're moving forward, you're going to hold that with you. You have this greater understanding. Yes, it's certainly difficult to see that and come to that conclusion in our waking lives because we live inside this matrix where we're so distracted. Sometimes we lose track of the bigger picture of things because we're so consumed with the here and now. But that's why you can take that position of perspective with you on your path now that you have a better idea of how this works, and you want to stop yourself sometimes and just take a deep breath, take a time out for yourself, regain perspective so you know that you're making the right decisions moving forward. And remember, Leo, if it's truly in support of you, no one is going to fault you for having a delayed reaction toward any decisions you need to make in your life. If it makes you feel rushed, if it makes you feel that you need to make a decision right now in that very moment and doesn't respect that you need to take a deep breath, gain perspective first, then that should be enough to tell you where that energy may be coming from. I hope I'm making myself clear there, Leo. What do we have at the third eye, please? Seven of Cups, Scorpio energy, Ten of Swords, Gemini energy. And again, this is going along exactly with everything I'm speaking about here. This Seven of Cups is giving me an energy of trickery, right? It's somebody creating a lot of confusion in your life. And it's right there at the third eye. So the third eye position in my readings is typically going to represent everything surrounding our perception inside our waking life. And with this Ten of Swords at the crown, It's giving me the energy that you are now holding with you, the power of perspective. 7, 7, 7. Your magic and your manifesting abilities are increasing at this time, Leo, and I just feel that there's an energy here that is trying to double down, is trying to distract you. And of course, this can be self-inflicted. It can be an energy of you feeling held back by your own limiting beliefs. And the 7s also represent a kind of knowing. It's all about discernment here, Leo. Here you are, graduating on from the cycle in your life, and you're starting to see that on some level here, there was almost a very meticulously crafted movie that has been your life. I quite often channel through The Truman Show, and I'm getting again here now, Leo. And that movie is the perfect example of what awakening feels like. You feel like everybody was in on it, right? And this is what this energy is here. This 10 of Swords, Gemini energy at the crown is indicating this new start. But there's a kind of spiritual death that you had to bring to this old version of yourself. It's like a snake shedding its skin. This is similar to what I'm getting here. You're stepping into a new season. You're shedding the old. You're moving on. You're no longer shackled to this karmic cycle anymore. I'm hearing something about a haunted funhouse. And I feel that that really speaks about, when you're going through these awakenings, right, and you're waking up to all these horrors in your life and the way people were keeping you trapped inside these karmic cycles, it is almost like you've been living inside a haunted funhouse, right? And you've been confined in this very limited space. It doesn't have to be physically. No, I certainly hope not, but it's more of a spiritual feeling. It's spiritual bondage. But you don't recognize all of this until you start breaking free. That's when you truly start to have a full awareness of just how trapped you were. Leo, what I'm getting here with this first row, do you see how there's this dark figure back there? I feel like this represents the energy, okay, that's been keeping you bound, right, inside this karmic cycle. Now, for some of you, this could literally be a person or people, but for the sake of the reading, it's an energy, okay? Because even though it may be one person or a group of people, there's always a spirit attached to that, all right? And there's a source for that spirit. So it could be one spirit that's working through multiple people to keep you away from something, okay? But what I'm getting here is, this is you deading the cycle. It's like you had to destroy yourself to be able to graduate on into the new cycle. It's like you had to spiritually kill off this old version of yourself. No repair needed. It's a complete upgrade. It's like a 2.0 kind of energy. And that can also speak about what it's like when you're graduating on from these cycles and you have that paradigm shift. You just see things in a way that you haven't seen them before. And it's that paradigm shift that allows you to move forward and never look back. It's one of those moments when you see a person or a group of individuals in a way that you never have before. And it's so incredibly profound that, well, you certainly cannot look at them the same way anymore. That's for sure. But it just allows you to push forward and not even engage with these energies. You start to understand that they're a different kind of breed. They're a part of the simulation, a part of the matrix of your life, so to speak. They were just actors and actresses in this meticulously scripted movie that was your life. You begin to see them as not even real, Leo, not even human. And, you know, for all of you individuals out there that have suffered through narcissistic abuse, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're not human. They are the demons of the world. They're completely broken, soulless vessels. And when you have this perspective shift, it's so much easier to move on from them because there's almost no emotional attachment that you have with these individuals anymore. I think about my own path and the people that I've had to disconnect from, and how years ago that would have been an incredibly emotional thing. I just wouldn't have been able to do it. Now, a lot of these people are not even a part of my thought process. It's very rare that I think about any of them. And I'm talking immediate family members, okay? People that I would have never have thought would not have been a part of my life. But that perspective shift allowed me to see them for who they really were. And it's amongst all of that that you also start to understand enough of who you are and what you came here to do, Leo. What do we have at the foundation, please? 7 of Cups again. 7, 7, 7, 7. Unbelievable. 4 sevens in this reading. Leo, you're going to be stepping into this new chapter of your life where your manifestation skills are going to be effortless. But the trick here is to use your psychic abilities to navigate your path moving forward and how you manifest, right? So simply put, this is you truly listening to this inner voice, Leo. This is where you are going to manifest this new reality for yourself. This is a new spiritual kind of you, Leo. This is uncharted territory for you. You need to also pay attention to the signs, the synchronicities around you at this time, Leo. These are going to be markers, little benchmarks to guide you, to let you know that you are going in the right direction. And the 7 of Cups, Scorpio energy, is coming in underneath this 2 of Swords. Now, this 7 of Cups from this deck, whenever I get it, I think of a leopard can't change its spots, right? So that could speak about the left-hand path, right? Here you are at this crossroads. You're starting to understand now that things will never change. And then there's this divine white horse that is waiting for you to make the decision. That's the supportive energy from the universe that I've been picking up throughout this entire reading. You may be alone, Leo, in your waking life for some of you, or you may feel alone. But I promise you, you are certainly not alone at all. And the fact that you are moving on from this cycle with flying colors is allowing the divine to give you even more support, okay? It's one of those times where you take a step forward, you meet the divine halfway, and then they're able to come through and provide you with the support you need. Because remember, we have free will, right? So they can't really force you to do anything. They can just create these events in your life in hopes that you self-empower, get the picture, and you start charging forward on your path. In other words, Leo, defend your position and allow for the divine to send in the cavalry. What do we have at the sacral, please? Temperance, Crocell. Wow, I just said send in the cavalry, and we have this angel here. It's like blowing this horn, right? This trumpet. And it just reminds me of that, you know, when we see these old war films and they're blowing a trumpet and the cavalry comes rushing in on horses. This temperance is right underneath this 5 of Wands, and I feel that this is representing the disruptive energies around you that you are being protected from as you're moving forward. You see, what's interesting about spiritual awakening is until you actually start self-empowering, we're under attack, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because again, you have to self-empower, you have to stand up, you have to meet the divine halfway so they can protect you. Until you do, they just assume, based off of the energy that you're projecting out in the universe, that that's where you want to be, right? So it's hard for people to take that first step because it requires faith. And when people have gone through such traumatic karmic cycles or these layered forms of narcissistic abuse, they have a tendency to lose hope, right? But what you start to find is as you're charging forward, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner, because you feel this rush of energy around you. It's almost unexplainable, but it's the universe wrapping a cloak of protection around you by guiding you in the right direction on your path. It's as if you have stepped into position and the universe is saying, okay, Leo, can you hear us? We got you on the radio. All right, you got to take 10 steps forward, 2 to the right. It's this kind of energy. This is how awakening works. This is how alignment works. Think about yourself down here on a battlefield, but you don't know you're on a battlefield, right? And then the divine is trying to get messages through to you, hoping that you wake up to the fact that you're inside of a kind of war zone, right? This reality. This is how I perceive spiritual awakening, the spiritual realm, our connection to the divine. It's all a big game. It's all a big war. And each one of you is a kind of soldier. It's up to you to get up and fight for your life and allow the divine to have your back. You make that choice, Leo. It's up to you to overcome all the narcissistic abuse, these karmic cycles, and all this toxicity that you've succumbed to in your life. And it's up to you to do something useful with all of that inside this life cycle. Because again, I'm of the thinking that all of our greatest struggles that we face in our life, Leo, are 100% connected to the path that we are supposed to be on. And if that hasn't all crystallized to you just yet, don't worry, it will. Just get moving. And Leo, everything I'm saying here to you, I'm telling you based on my own experience. I'm not just saying this. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? And look who decided to show up to the party, Leo. Lucifer, death, Scorpio energy at the solar plexus. They can't hide from you anymore, Leo. 7 of Swords stacked with death in its negative polarity. You see it now. See, this is what they're afraid of. You know, Leo, when I went through my awakening, I was studying the chakra systems as a means to heal myself and rebalance my chakras based on the trauma that I had been through in my life. And I was really studying the different angels, the different demons, and their correspondence with the chakra systems, and also the 7 deadly sins. I started to be able to get to a point where I could look at the individuals that had been in my life and have a deeper understanding of the demons that each one of these people had within them. Now, demons are kinds of behavioral patterns, okay, that people take on. So, possession, right? You know, we see this obviously with people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol or, again, narcissistic people. There are actual behavioral patterns that are associated with specific demons. Now, there's 7 umbrellas to these behavioral patterns, which are called the 7 deadly sins. And I have spoken about this in readings before, and it's coming up again here now. But I got to a point in my life, Leo, that I could sit down for just a few minutes with almost anyone and be able to pinpoint where I think they may have some blockages in their life that could be leading them to take on those behavioral patterns that lead to them living a path underneath one of the umbrellas of the 7 deadly sins. When I was able to attribute specific forms of possession and demons to members of my family, friends, exes I'd been with, it was mind-blowing, because what I found was a kind of story that was unfolding. All of them essentially had the same kind of possession, and it all led back to people in my family. You see, when you have this unhealed trauma and you're going throughout your life, you become an adult and you just start living your life going down your own path, you don't even realize it until times like these when you're going through awakening, that you're attracting the same kind of spirit over and over again into your life. So this is what I'm getting here for you, Leo. And simply put, I just feel that you're going to get to a point where you can recognize the possession in a lot of these people. You can essentially see or sense the kind of demonic entity that they may have attached to them. And this is what I'm getting with this death Lucifer stacked with this 7 of Swords at the solar plexus, because here you can see somebody trying to take something from you, but they're looking over their shoulder, almost like Am I going to get away with it this time? But this time they don't. You see them. And once you see them, it's almost as if I'm getting a lot of ringing in my left ear right now, Leo. Not a friendly kind of ringing either. It's a ringing that does not want me telling you this. But once you start to have this higher perspective over this situation and these individuals and the cycles you've run, they can't hide from you anymore. And whenever I see this card, it's like you see them for who they are, right? They're just some little demon cherub sitting on a pile of skulls, right? That's all their victims. I just heard. Now you see me for who I really am, Leo. Well, here we are. Now what? And then I have Arias on the bottom of the deck here. That's the Hierophant in its negative polarity, which is a godless energy. Whenever I see that card, it makes me think of somebody who walks in on somebody, right, doing something really trifling with God knows what here. I mean, they've got like a meat roast here in one hand, a dog right here. It just looks very suspicious. What do we have at the heart, please? 5 of Cups, Scorpio energy again. Destruction of environment. And this is one of my narcissists, right? Whenever I get this card, it's like a narcissist riding around on their narcissistic cords of attachment, right? Those snakes, it's like they come up and they poke a hole in your chest with that peg right there. Then they throw one of these snakes at you and they suck back your high vibrational energy. But as we can see here, destruction of environment, it says this person it's like they're having the life drained out of them, right? Because they can't feed off of your energy anymore. That vampiric energy, it's over. Scorpio energy. So there's a lot of shadow Scorpio energy here. The 7 of Cups, the Scorpio energy, Death card, shadow Scorpio energy. There's 5 of Cups, shadow Scorpio energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're dealing with a Scorpio. It just means that they hold this shadow Scorpio energy. There's 2 polarities to every zodiac sign. There's the shadow and there's the light. Okay, the shadow is essentially on the left-hand path, the light's on the right-hand path, so to speak. One works for the divine and one works for the underworld. That's the simplest way I can put this, Leo. Okay, and chances are most of you have come from cycles that you have run with people who are in their shadow and have tried to pull you into that shadow. And a lot of you have also graduated on from your own shadow in certain areas of your life. And for the kind of energy that I'm picking up for you here, Leo, it's almost required. It's like you had to go through the darkness. You had to go through hell to come out the other side. You had to have this wisdom, this knowledge. I'm a Scorpio, and I certainly came from living a karmic lifestyle well before I even knew what a lot of this even meant. But it's armed me with a certain kind of knowledge to where I can speak to all of you about this with a full understanding and the necessary vocabulary to be able to articulate to all of you how this all works. But whatever the case, Leo, this energy has been exposed and it does not like it. It's like their whole world is falling apart. Destruction of environment. It's like what happens when you walk off the set of your movie. It's over. The lie has been exposed. Everybody's just running around aimlessly like chickens with their heads cut off. This is this energy. 5 of Wands. If there was going to be a card that represented individuals running around like chickens with their heads cut off, it would be the 5 of Wands. And then we have 4 of Cups, Mia Heal, healing capacity, Cancer energy. And this is representing this whole new outlook that you have on life now, Leo. Moving forward, you are no longer going to perceive reality the way you once did. This is a full awakening. This is a new kind of you. This is a totally tapped in version of yourself that you are now aligning with. You know, Leo, it gives me the impression that you're aligning with the most high vibrational, awakened version of yourself that exists on any timeline. And what I mean by that is, you know, on any timeline, there's just all these different versions of ourself that we can align with in any given moment. Every moment we can shift timelines based off of how we're moving, based on our decision making. But your decision making has led you to this person that you are aligning with now because you're allowing your inner compass to guide you in making this a reality. See, that's really what divine guidance can do for you. It can lead you to the greatest version of yourself. So you win this particular game of your life, Leo, not somebody else. And it sounds crazy to think that somebody else could win the game that is your life. It's one of those kinds of ideas that should really wake something up inside of you. I almost want to say that it kind of feels angry, right? It's like it's like the lion, Leo. It's like you're this powerful beast. Something just awakens in you and you don't allow this to happen. You just trample over anybody who tries to get in your way. But it's all done in spirit. That is the magnitude of your spirit, the lion. What do we have at the throat, please? 4 of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the throat. Mizrael. God liberating the oppressed, self-atonement, cures mental illness, deliverance from persecution. So whenever I get this card, it really speaks about you overcoming a kind of mental illness that you had when you were sick spiritually and stuck inside this cycle that you're graduating on from, right? The mental illness to me speaks about a kind of spiritual poverty. But then as you can see here, there's this angel protecting you, right? Launching these demons out of your life. And it's right underneath that world. It's like here you are going through the portal, entering this new chapter of your life, and then the divine's got your back, right? Doesn't it look like this demon is trying to jump through the portal and grab you? And then this angel's like, I don't think so. You're not going to touch Leo. We got Leo's back. What do we have at the third eye? Oh, wow. Ace of Pentacles, Kehathel, the adored God. Divine blessings, drives away evil spirits, rules agricultural production. So just confirms what I said. It's like the divine has your back, right? They've got an eye on you. Divine blessings, that's what you're heading towards. Drives away evil spirits, this 4 of Pentacles right here at that throat position. 44, 4 of Cups and 4 of Pentacles, that's a number that speaks about your guardian angels wrapping you in a cloak of protection. So everything here is beginning to connect now, Leo. And this Ace of Pentacles, this speaks about manifestation, but again, it goes back to what I said about you using your spiritual abilities, the connection that you have with the divine to manifest on your path moving forward. Every decision you make, Leo, should be taken to source first. This is you just sitting quietly and connecting intuitively through meditation. Whatever you feel guided to do, to source, to the divine, to your guides, to God, whatever you use to be able to access this higher guidance. That needs to become your compass, and it needs to be on the forefront of everything you do. As long as you do this, Leo, you cannot go wrong. What do we have at the crown to close out for Leo? Oh, wow. 8 of Wands, Sag energy. Vul, the great and exalted God. Grandeur makes one passionate toward God. So the 8 of Wands is all about movement, and it's confirming what I'm saying there, right? Makes one passionate towards God. So it's you becoming very passionate about the connection that you hold with the divine, with Source, with God. And this is how you move from here on out. There's a lot of movement inside this energy as we're closing out the reading, Leo. But overall, it's indicating acceleration into this new chapter of your life. Leo, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Leo. Take care.